And I forgot to hit the record button. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stop it and then we'll just share out a little bit. Okay. All right, guys. So just real fast, let's have Kai's group share first, just the first couple slides. And in fact, let's share out the first couple slides, just a summary of what you guys thought a Renaissance is, and then the purpose of a Renaissance. And then just go ahead and share out your slides on Zoom. Okay, so you guys can talk about it. That'd be the easiest way. So we have Kai's group go first, and then who's this group? Tia's group.
Do I have to share? Do I have
Yeah,
to share
share your screen. That'll be fine. It's easy.
Okay.
And then who is this last one? La'akea's group. Okay, go last. Okay, go ahead, and then just talk about it. Summarize.
So our group, we said that a Renaissance is like cultural growth and reviving a culture that was once like almost gone. That's what we summarized. And the purpose of a Renaissance is to bring back the culture and to teach others about it and being proud of your culture. And we had like a lot of social injustice, like income gaps, healthcare, gender gaps, gender roles, and racism.
All right, thank you. Well done. Okay, next group, that would be Tia's group.
Wait, sorry. Okay, so for the what do we know about the Renaissance, we put that we knew it was a revival or a rebirth of a culture, and when this happens, the feelings and compassion go to when they realize their purpose and the identity of the culture. The purpose of a Renaissance is to keep the culture alive, and most cultures use art or music that represent the beauty and strength of the present and the historical times of the culture. For the social injustices, we have the mental health, climate change, suppressed trauma, racism, poverty, racial injustice, gun violence, healthcare, discrimination for race, social status, disabilities, and poverty again, culture identities, and abuse of power.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's all.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Okay. And then the last group, I'm just trying to see also, like, when we start to create our poems, our slam poems, I want you guys, I just need to make sure that you guys are like, not like, there's not like everybody talking about racial issues or everybody talking about blah, blah, blah. Like, I would like to see what you care most about, your uniqueness come out in your poems, right? Because again, let's go back to the everybody's on their own journey, right? And so we shouldn't have too much overlap. Okay, who's the last? La'akea's group, yeah. Alicia.
All right. Okay, so basically we just talked about everything in our breakout rooms and then we just made one answer. So yeah, so we condensed it to one sentence. And so this answer for the first question was a restoration or rebirth of arts and literature from the past, and to teach almost forgotten cultural practices and languages. And so the purpose of a Renaissance is to restore these arts and literatures from the past and to remember, I guess, and to allow our culture to like just be alive and like just to not forget, I guess. Yep. So a couple social injustices we talked about, or I mentioned ageism and homophobia. Alicia wanted to talk about climate justice. Trinity wants to talk about racism in college applications. And Kamara wants to talk about healthcare or the lack of it.
All righty. Thank you. All right. So what I would like to do now, okay, is this. We need to go on to our next part of Canvas of our module. So we have this discussion board, which is called This is the Way We Rise. Okay, is everybody there? Okay, and so I'm going to kind of highlight this Kanaka scholar. Yeah, and I think a lot of you guys heard of who she is, Jamaica Heoli Mele Ikalani Osorio. Okay, she is actually a professor at UH Manoa. Okay, she is actually really famous. Like she performed a poem for President Obama. Okay, so you can really look her up. I mean, she has an extensive amount of material online. The one thing I want you guys to do, okay, is this. I'm gonna play this video for you guys. It's gonna be kind of long, but I need you guys to do me a really, what the heck? Hang on. What is this? Sorry. Okay, so what I want you guys, can you hear me? Do you hear something? Do you hear something? No? Okay, good. There's an ad going on, that's why I have to wait for it. So irritating. Okay, so I want you guys to take notes, okay, on This is the Way we Rise. I'm gonna be playing for you guys the majority of this video, and she's gonna talk about writing. Okay, she's gonna present on writing, okay, and it's really important because it's gonna take you through like kind of like explaining how she goes about writing. Okay, all right, we ready? I'm trying to make this bigger. Okay. Kai, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear it? Yeah, thank you.
Ask me about the Mauna, and I will tell you about 30 Kanaka huddled shivering in an empty parking lot, praying that Lahui would answer the call. I will tell you about 2 nights hot sleeping directly under a sky scattered in stars, in air so clear every inhale is medicine. How every morning I woke to a Lahui Kanaka growing as if we were watching Maui fish us one by one from the sea. Ask me, and I will tell you how on the 3rd morning, I watched as 30 became 100, then 100 became 1,000, then 1,000 became us all. Ask me, and I will sing the song of our Manuahine, linked arms and unafraid, who stood in the face of a promise of sound cannons and mace. Ask me, and I will tell you that I have been transformed here, but I won't have the words to quite explain. I will say, I don't know exactly who I'll be when this ends, but at the very least, I'll know that this Aina did everything it could to feed me, and that will be enough to keep me standing.
So you guys should be taking notes, yeah? She just said something so powerful. If you need to go back and rewatch this, I would suggest you do it as well, okay?
I think about my role as the poet as having power to make people feel. If it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, if it doesn't conjure a memory, if it doesn't give you chicken skin, the poem's useless to me. A poem is as good as it resonates. And when I find resonance with people, I feel affirmed. I feel a pilina with them. Pilina is the word that we use to describe any kind of relatedness, but it also means to be like stuck to something. I think we're starving for intimacy generally. As Hawaiians, even more so, there's been this incredible disruption of pilina in ourselves, our land, and the people around us. Between 1778, when Captain Cook arrived, and the overthrow in 1893, we lost 90% of our population due to disease. 90% of our population just died. That's an apocalypse. The world transformed. And the ones who live struggled through this incredible transformation of land and resources and rights and privileges and living on their land.
We are Hawaiian people, natives. This is our life.
So there is a history of exploitation that mirrors what's happening on the mountain. For the last 10 years, a conglomerate has been trying to build a telescope on top Mauna Awakea. This would be the 14th telescope on that mountain, built without the consent of the Hawaiian people. Mauna Awakea, the fight to protect her. I don't think any of us are anti-telescope, but I will say that Hawaiians understand that science that requires desecration is not ethical, and it's not science, it's development.
We are not American! We are not American! We are not American! Say it in your heart. Say it when you sleep. We are not American. We will die as Hawaiians. We will never be Americans.
Raise your hand if before reading for this class, you had never heard of or experienced the wonderful, exciting trauma that is Haunani-Ke Trask. It's a travesty the way that I grew up being taught about poetry, because I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I thought it was useless. I thought it was old white dudes meditating on their perfect old white dude life. So why would that have meaning? It's not relevant to anything I was experiencing. It couldn't talk to me as a young queer Hawaiian woman and help me understand like that I was okay. Then when I was 16, a friend introduced me to slam, and a whole new world of poetry opened up for me. I was hooked. By the time I was 18, 19, I was writing almost exclusively about Hawaii. So colonization, the overthrow, annexation, the loss of our language, the loss of a lot of our cultural practices. For a long time, I didn't ever want anyone to read my poetry because I grew up in a Hawaiian language immersion school. My concept of my spelling and my grammar is like, that's atrocious. And that used to really bother me because I thought it meant I was stupid. So I didn't want people to read the poems. I just wanted to perform them.
The sea is rising, and in my tiny Honolulu town, that means underwater homes, there was a wall of water taunting my homeland.
And I was really lucky that I kind of got pulled into this slam poetry competition.
And 3 in life, we count in 3, stutter at the finality of the pattern. 1 stop, 2 think. 1 stop, 2 think, 3. There's still a way out.
The poems were so close to me that I wanted to perform perfectly, not just to win, but to like do justice to the poem. At some point, it became really clear that I could talk about Hawaii on a microphone. And if I did it as a poem, people would listen. Like, I could get a lot of people to listen.
What happens to the ones forgotten? The ones who shape my heart from their rib cages. I want to taste the tears in their names. Trace their souls onto my vocal cords so that I can feel related again. But our tongues feel too foreign in our own mouths. We don't dare speak out loud. So we can't even pronounce our own parents' names. And who will care to remember mine if I don't teach them? This is all I have of my family history that's real. And now it's yours. O Elroy Thomas de Aloha Osorio he kane. O Clara Kule ke he wahine. Noho pulawa ahano ia o Jonathan K. Kamakaviva ole Osorio he kane. O Jonathan K. Kamakaviva ole Osorio he kane. O Mary Carol Dunn he wahine. Noho pulawa ahano ia o Jamaica. He oli mele kalani Osorio he wahine. Do not forget us. My poina.
The poem I performed at the White House took 10, 15 minutes to write. So the good poems come fast. They just like fall out of you. To write from a place of inspiration, it's like fast-paced, your heart rate shoots up, like there's actual adrenaline involved. That can feel really invigorating. I was really lucky to have a lot of those moments that I thought that that's what writing was, and it made it really hard to have the discipline to keep writing when I didn't have pure inspiration. I think that's part of the reason I stopped writing and performing. Not only did it become kind of a chore and even like a pressure to produce for other people, but I felt like I had run out of things to say. And I had run out of new ways to say old things. People would ask me to perform somewhere, and I would want to say no because I hadn't written a poem in 3 years. So then after months and months of waiting, we got the call. And so our people, we packed up our bags, we stepped away from our jobs because the TMT was gonna start construction again on Mauna Kea, and we decided that we weren't gonna let them. So to block the transport of construction equipment, a group of us chained ourselves to the cattle guard on the Mauna Kea access road.
We've been here since about 3:30 this morning, locked in, and they're about to dispatch the police officers to come forcibly remove us. This is an invitation to share this message, to come down and bring your mele and your aloha and your kapu aloha to come malama kia aina, aloha kia aina.
It's already happening. Massive disobedience. We cannot allow this to happen. TMT must go away. TMT must leave Hawaii.
My brothers, where's your hearts? Let them be. You choose money over us, Kanakama Ole. How can you do that? Look what we have to do. You guys make us do this. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Do a poem.
Huh? Bring them home. Do a poem. Right here?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. Let's go.
A poem?
Yeah. Drop it, bro.
I got a long one.
Yes. We got a lot of time.
Sorry, I need to get used to it.
It's 1876, and David Kalakaua, not yet crowned, not yet anointed or king, pens a song at the request of Kamehameha V. Lota Kapuaiwa, Hawaii Pono'i, a new national anthem, a new symbol of strength, a new promise to the Kanaka Maoli of Kalakaua's generation that, like those before, they will stand and fight for the right to Noho Aupuni. Today, we call this resistance. Back then, we just called it pono. Being there, I had voice again. I had something new to say. I've written a lot of poems for the Mauna this week. I might just read them. Ask me about the Mauna, and I will tell you the mo'olelo of 8 kanaka chained to a cattle grate, and the kokua that sat beside us. Auntie says she sees hope in me, and I watch her overflow. Says she dreamed of this day. When you write a poem or a song in Hawaiian, it's no longer yours. You don't have ownership over it. It belongs to the person you write it to. That's kind of the beauty in all of this. All the poems I'm writing, they belong to Mauna Awakea. To me, in many ways, they're all just the same poem. Mauna Awakea and I are getting to know each other. You know, it's like falling in love. This morning, all I have is the magic of a Mauna, caught in the sight of the sun. as we are teased by the treachery of time. All I have is the honesty of this weight, weighing minutes stretching across the hardening curve of my spine, all my words caught in the cracks of my breath, hands curling into their own heat. This morning, I have nothing here to hold you with, and you, still as constant as the summit, with all your magic rising beside me, holding out your hands to catch everything I am and not quite yet.
Alrighty. So what we have here is we have the poem that she's talking about is right here. Okay. You'll have time to listen to this on your own. Okay. And then you're just going to write a response here. Okay. The thing that I want you guys to do is to go to the next part of the module, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your Hawaiian Renaissance revising poetic response number 4. Okay, and we're going to be revising it. So, gosh, I was kind of emotional. I need to like go take a walk or something. You're going to be clicking here, and what you're going to have is this worksheet. Okay, what I want you to do is paste your poetic response number 4 here. So make a copy. Okay, so let's do this all together. Okay. There might be a couple of you guys who need to finish your poetic response number 4. I need you guys to open up your, actually, I wrote some comments in your poetic response number 4 assignment too, so you might want to go back. Okay, so what you're going to do is first you're going to just celebrate what are some of the lines that jumped out at you, okay, that you wrote. Okay, why did you pick it? So the discussion below is for you to kind of celebrate where you're at this moment, okay, with your poem. Number 2, author's craft. After examining your golden lines and the poem as a whole, what are some generalizations you can make about your style of writing? Okay, are you still trying to find it, or are you good with it? Okay, what effect does it have on you as a reader reading your own poem? Okay, next, this is where we're going to start to transition to how do we make this better. Again, I noticed that some of you guys added some dates, some terms, people's names, but I think more needs to be done with that. Okay, and that's why we're going to revise poetic response number 4. So create some questions, right? Who are we? Are we the hunter or are we the lion? Or are we not going to play this game, right? It's a really sick game. Yeah. I want you to add insight. So this box right here deals with the brainstorm of how you're going to add to the poem. Some of you guys might even just throw away your poem and start again. And is that okay? Can you guys give me a thumbs up? That is totally okay, right? Because maybe you'll find something else to write about that's even better. Okay. So what else? Think about whom the poet is addressing. So who are you addressing? Are you addressing the past, the people now, or the future, right? So think about that as you talk, as you create this poem. Yeah, and who is the speaker? Are you the speaker, or is it your kupuna who are the speakers? I don't know, okay? So try to wrap your brain around that, because then this poem becomes unique to you. Or are you having a discussion with somebody? Are you having a discussion with the person who you were before you understood things and learned new things? Because you can't go back to unlearn them. You know them. So what do? Can you have that discussion with yourself? Okay, and what is the message okay, that I guess you as the author is trying to get across. So brainstorm those ideas. You should be throwing down some major ideas in here, okay? You're gonna talk about the connection. What is the inspiration of this poem that's coming out of you, right? Find the tree that bears its leaves, okay? And then last, this is where you're gonna copy and paste your poem into this box, and you're going to try and revise it to where you can kind of perform it. Okay, so I've given you guys a couple things to focus on. Focus on developing your style. Capitalize when you want to scream it. When a word needs to be screamed, you just capitalize it. When you need to slow down the pace because there is something that needs to be said, then space it out so that you have this like visual of what's going on. And then don't forget to highlight what is the emotional weight of the lines, right? And for some of you guys, you might need to recategorize these colors. Depends on what, on who you are, okay? Maybe the tenderness and sadness might be a different color for you. So it just depends on how you perceive this to be. The anger and frustration, maybe that's something else. So what I'm asking you to do is to call out the emotional weight of some of the words, the phrases that you're choosing. I don't know if happiness for you is yellow. It might be orange. It might be, I don't know, some of you guys love your purples. I'm not a fan of purple, but that's okay. You do you, I do me. It's fine. Okay. And I want you guys to create some risks, right? And we're going to share this out next class. There was a whole nother thing that we were going to do. I was going to assign you, but I want to slow down to see where you're at with writing poems. Some of you guys are way too straightforward in your poetry and need to find more figurative language. How do you say something without actually saying you're angry or that you are lost and you're looking, right? How do you say it? You say it with a metaphor. So please take the time.
It's 1876.
Okay.
And David Clark Howard.
To say it without it being said. So you guys go ahead. If you guys want to stay on for just a little bit, you guys are more than welcome. I'm going to play this, but find the time to listen to how Jamaica Osorio weaves in points of history, facts into her own insight. Okay. All right. Everybody clear on what they're doing? Yeah. Listen to this, watch this poem. You can look her up. You can look up as many videos as you want from her. Okay. But then try to write your own mini slam poem and see where you're at. This poem might be part of your final. It just depends on what you do. Okay. So I'm just going to play this out. Class is over, but if you want to just stay and listen, fine. Okay. All right. Email me if you need to. Okay. Don't forget your IXL tomorrow. Nice to spend time with all of you guys this morning. Thank you.
Miss
Not yet
Cobbser,
crowned, not yet anointed or king, pens.
Yes, Tia.
I have a can I tell you something like for my grades?
Yeah. You wanna meet? You wanna just meet now then?
Yeah, it's just the WebQuest Harlem Renaissance, the one I
Okay.
emailed you.
Oh, did you finish?
Yeah, I emailed you the link that I
Okay.
finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Apule, how's it going? So I wrote in your assignment for the poetic response. I'm just gonna stop this because everybody's leaving. Okay. That I'm looking forward to your poem, whatever is gonna come out of you. I'm not putting pressure on you. It's just your kuleana. I'm sorry. Okay. And I have ideas of what I would like you to do, but because that's not my role as a teacher, just start thinking about what it is you want to write about with social injustice, what you see, right? That you feel like you can commit to. It's like maybe might be your life's work for right now. Okay, whatever it is. And then see how you can work in, majority of it, maybe it's in Hawaiian, but also how do you also bring in the kids that don't really understand Hawaiian to its fullest, right? So how are you going to do that, right? So check out some of her poems, okay? All right,
Thank
bye.
you.
Okay, shoots, bye.